board was practically made for me to like it, but I don't think it's everybody's cup of tea, and I don't think it should be. I'm talking about the Platinum PT750, the latest offering from QWERTY Keys in collaboration with Percent Studio and Owl Labs. The PT750 is priced at $499, not including shipping, and is available for purchase at QWERTY Keys' website, linked down below. Orders are a first-come, first-served pre-order and expected to fulfill within 4 weeks after the sale ends. Now, I'll be honest, I've always been a really big fan of Percent's design language ever since they released the Canoe. I love their curves, I love their commitment to trying something new with every board, and I really respect what they do visually with their boards. However, they have had some issues in the past with customer service, so I'm glad to see them partnering with a vendor with such a stellar reputation who can take over customer service for them and fulfill their orders for them, so that's no longer a worry. This board is no exception to that philosophy, which has made me a really big fan of the studio in the past. The PT750 inherits design elements from their previous release, the PT990. It features smooth, gentle lines that complements its flat, elongated aesthetics. It comes in a variety of finishes, including anodized options like plum, lavender, silver, ice blue, and gray, as well as spray-coated versions in bubblegum, linen, and celadon green. On their product page, they talk a lot about their use of the G3 curve. And for good reason. It's likely a very big part of why this board is so expensive. Machining smooth continuous curves is very rarely ever cheap. For those of you who don't know, the G3 curve is something that's used a lot in product design. It's just a way of making curves look smooth and continuous. It's used in Apple products and other high-end design studios like that. And guys, this board is all curves. There's literally not a single corner on it. Everything is either chamfered or smoothly transitioning to the next part. I can't find any edges anywhere. It's kind of crazy, the attention to detail here, actually. I'm a little bit freaked out. The whole board flows together extremely well. It's honestly not something like any other board I've seen, and something that's really hard to show over camera, at least for me. The other half of that price tag is likely the giant slab of stainless steel that makes up this PVD backweight. I weighed it for fun, and it clocks in at an absolutely massive portion of the total weight. If it matters to you, the rest of the board is all 6063 aluminum, very standard for a board of this price point. I do also want to shout out my preference here really quick. I love a big curved board. So part of the reason why I love the aesthetics of this board so much is it's reminiscent of a lot of the other boards that I love from my collection. Like the Piggy 60, the High Tune, the Hibiki, the Cat, all have really big round curves, and this very much falls in line with that. Now we're going to get into some things besides its visuals that might make this not for everybody. This board only supports one layout. Now personally, I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing. I think it's very hard to make a board sound good if you put in tons and tons of compatibility and tons of options. Most boards really only sound good in 1 or 2 configurations. So I don't mind them limiting those. However, if you're someone who doesn't like this layout, obviously this board isn't necessarily going to work for you. The mounting system is an aluminum leaf spring with pogo gaskets. It's very reminiscent of the Owl Labs spring, if you remember that board and how that board's mounting system worked. And it's actually a mounting style that works very well for me as someone who's a light typist and prefers a flexible typing experience. But if you're a very heavy typist or you prefer a stiffer typing experience, there's no real way to make this cater to your preference. The case is a screwless ball catch, and the PCB connects with a magnetic pogo connector. This makes the board very easy to adjust, but I don't know what exactly we'd be adjusting, considering you can only build this with a few options. So I'm not really sure why this was necessary. And usually I wouldn't be too picky about this, but I find that with the mounting style that they have, and with the plates that they have chosen, this board already tends to sounding quite thin and high-pitched. And I find that boards with a ball catch structure also tend to sound quite thin and high-pitched. So while I respect that that might be what the designer might be going for with this board, it does seem like quite a lot to push it in that direction, and I wonder if maybe they pushed it a little too far. I only mention this because when we were reviewing it live on our stream on Twitch, quite a lot of you complained that you didn't necessarily like the sound. And as I went through other reviewers' reviews, I noticed that they all had a very similar complaint. While I personally don't mind this sound, and I like having a variety of boards in my collection, I understand that some people prefer very specific things, and this might not fit your preference. cuts. That being said, you can get some variety of sounds out of this board, and I've included a variety of sound tests at the end of this video so you can see how far we can push things in either direction. As I kind of alluded to previously, the PT750 only offers two plate options, FR4 and polypropylene. The FR4 plate does come with flex cuts, while the polypropylene plate does not. This means that they're more or less going to feel the same, with the FR4 maybe being mildly stiffer. The PT750 offers two PCB options, a 1.2mm flex cut hot swap PCB and a 1.6mm non-flex cut hot swap PCB. There are no solder options for this board. Personally, I would recommend going with the 1.6mm PCB, as the 1.2 tends to really push that sound toward being high and thin. So unless that's a sound you really enjoy, I would go with the 1.6. Both PCBs only support wired connectivity, and both support VIA and QMK. The board also comes with a variety of phones that you can use to adjust the sound. Here's a variety of sound tests to help you choose what configuration you'd like to build your board in. I'll be honest, if you exclusively love a stiff board, or you type very, very heavily and don't like bottoming out a PCB, I'm not sure this board is for you. If you like really, really loud, deep sounds, again, I'm not sure this board is necessarily for you. But if you're like me and you type quite lightly and you like a very flexible, bouncing typing experience, this will be a wonder to type on. And if you like big round curves just like myself, this board is visually so beautiful. I personally love the feel and sound of this board. I've been enjoying having it on my desk for the past week and a half, and I've enjoyed reviewing it and testing it for you guys. I think where this board really stands out though is with its visual design, and I think the designer agrees with me. They put a lot of thought and effort into explaining their design choices, and that's something I personally really appreciate. I love how the weight seems like it disappears into nothing as you look at the back weight. I love where the USB-C cutout is and how they machine that entire area. I really appreciate how smoothly everything is machined, how you can see no machine lines, and the finishing is very excellent. It's been a joy to have on my desk, and I see myself using it often. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Let me know if you guys have any boards you want me to take a look at. And until next time, happy typing.